Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make these DIY Dollar Tree candy bowls on a pedestal, or you can use them for serving dishes. First we're going to need these garden dishes. You can find them in the craft section or in the garden section. You're going to need some tall stemware. I like the martini glass, or that one was the margarita glass. Either one of those, as long as they're heavy duty. And today we're actually going to use E6000. So I don't use it much, but I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. So the first thing you need to do is remove the labels. I first wanted to tell you that this video was inspired by the Dollar Tree Craft Club that I belong to on Facebook. One of the women had made these with candlesticks for a graduation party or oh no, she said a bridal shower, and she was doing like the candy serving things for like a candy bar. What that inspired me to go ahead and think about like those giant martini glasses that you see at Walmart. See there? So I was thinking, how cute would they be? And they would be much more stable if they were on the actual martini glass or margarita glass. Now I know that there are some supplies at the Dollar Tree that are really hard to find, but I kind of feel like every Dollar Tree I've ever gone to has had these garden dishes, and every Dollar Tree I've ever gone to has had the margarita glasses or martini glasses in excess, to be honest. So I thought that this would be a great craft to show you. Now I've decided to use E6000 in this project because I really wanted permanence. The hot glue or Gorilla Glue I chose not to use because of the clarity of, okay, what am I trying to say? So you'll see here when I put the glue on the rim and the way I put the glass on the bowl, that you'll see that I've made a very, very, very minimal glue line. Had I used hot glue, or hot Gorilla Glue for that matter, I feel like you would have been able to see it much more pronounced. The great thing about E6000 is very little of it goes a very long way. So what I really wish is I had excess amounts of it. I would have laid it on a plate and like dipped the rim of the glass almost like I was making a martini. Because then that would have given a very smooth glue surface. But the way we're going to do it is the best next thing in my opinion. So what I've done is I've taken some rubbing alcohol after I've removed all the labels. And every once in a while you'll get an obstinate label, and you guys have given me such great tips in the past. You know, a hair dryer or a heat gun will take the label off real easy. There is Gooby Gone and denatured alcohol. There is soaking it in hot water. All of these things work great. But since I'm a type 2 diabetic, I have lots of alcohol pads around, and they're very inexpensive. So I like to keep some in the craft room for just this reason. Now, I wanted to show you the labels that I took off of the bowl, that slow and steady wins the race. If you have time to take the label off so slowly, you won't be left with any residue, and that's the truth. Only out of the 2 labels on each bowl and the 1 label on each glass did I only have one that stuck. Which was on that martini glass. But you also want to take, I like to take rubbing alcohol and to wipe off the surface that you're going to glue. All right, and then make sure you dry it with a tissue, because if you don't want to leave any of the residue behind. Rubbing alcohol has other stuff in it besides alcohol, so you sometimes can leave like a residue. So what I do is I take the rubbing alcohol and then I like to wipe it with a tissue. So this is where I'm going to show you how we've decided to center these bowls perfectly. Okay, so I'm looking down from above, even though you are too. I've taken a China marker. You can also use a dry erase marker, but I just happen to have the China marker with me. For those of you who don't know what a China marker is, it's basically like a giant wax pencil that use a lot in construction because it rubs off of plastic and glass really easy. What I'm doing is I'm marking where, I just picked 4 spots, but where the glass is going to hit on the bowl. And I've marked it from the inside of the bowl. Because if you mark it from the outside of the bowl and you put your glue on it, you're never going to be able to erase it. Okay? So once I have that set, I've turned it over and I'm just double checking to make sure that it is nice and even around. And you'll see that the marks actually fall from the curve of the bowl, from the base of the bowl, excuse me. You'll see that the marks each are like even. They're each about 1/4 of an inch from where the seam of the bowl bottom is, if that makes sense. Oh, the flat area of the bottom. How's that? So I wanted to make sure that I did that. So now I'm taking the E6000 and I'm trying to do a very, very light bead around the whole rim of the glass. Now I found it very important to me, because I wasn't going to decorate these after the fact, to make the glue seam factory installed or barely visible is really what I was going for, so that it looked like this was actually something that was purchased, not made, if that makes sense. So I'm very carefully going around the very edge of the glass with just a little, barely pushing the glue out of the tube, because you just need a very little. To be honest with you, there's very little contact and just needs to be wherever the bowl contacts with the glass. All right. And now I have a couple of two spots. That sounds like my grandmother. Where there's like a lot, like, see, there actually was like a E6000 string. So what I did was I took the alcohol pad once again, and I used it on the inside of the martini glass to clean off those extra glue strings and stuff. Because as long as the inside's clean before you put them together, afterwards you can always clean the outside if you make any mistakes. All right. So just very carefully, because you don't want to get rubbing alcohol on your glue line either. So now we're just going to line up those 4 marks that we made, and we're going to very carefully place it straight down the best we can. And now I'm going to turn the glass. The reason we do this, and this is something that they do in construction when you're doing tiles and stuff, is you want to be able to evenly distribute the glue. So, all right, here's an example. Say at the 12 o'clock position, I had a gob of glue, and at the 2 o'clock position, there was a lot less. By spinning the glass, I've spread that 12 o'clock glue around a little bit, which makes it a little bit more evenly distributed. And as you can see there, you can still see the glue, but not as much as you would if it was a big glob of hot glue, in my opinion. But if you're not going to plan on keeping these for permanent use, then you can go ahead and use hot glue. If you just want to decorate them for a party, say you have a function, graduations are coming. Dum-Dums, I know it sounds crazy, but I follow Dum-Dums on Instagram. And Dum-Dums actually had the cutest display in a bowl like this, where they took the school colors. They took black wrapped ones, yellow wrapped ones, and white wrapped ones, and they put them in a jar like this. So that was obviously the school colors for graduation, which was so cool. By the way, that's my school colors from the team I graduated at, the high school I graduated from. Go West Hempstead Rams. All right, anyhow, I digress. I'm babbling again. All right, so I'm just going to repeat the same thing with the margarita glass. Now, I did choose these 2 glasses specifically for their different shapes. I felt like that this bowl, I really wanted to do the martini glass. The martini glass fits so perfectly with this bowl. However, the look of it reminds me of a margarita glass. So that's why I gave you the options to do both. They are both the same height, so it's not about a height difference as far as these 2 are concerned. It's more just about their presence. So one I've dried right side up, and one I'm going to dry upside down just to show you can do either. All right, and now I'm wiping the China marker off the inside of the margarita glass. And even though it's not dried 24 hours there, I want to show you it was still holding on pretty good. So after 24 hours, I'm going to take the margarita glass, and this is where I'm going to wipe off its China marker marks or your dry erase marker marks. If you have a stubborn dry erase marker, you can always use rubbing alcohol. It gets it right off. And I wanted to show you they're very, very sturdy. I've just tapped them together like cheers. And you can see their glue lines today. They're barely visible, which is so awesome. I think it just gives it much more of a professional look. And now I'm just going to fill them with candy. Being a type 2 diabetic, I don't have a lot of candy laying around. But these are Dum-Dums, the Christmas Dum-Dums left over from Christmas. And I have some gumballs left over from Easter. So I'm just going to show you as a sample what they look like. Okay? So really quick, I was just finishing filming and everything. I just wanted to show you something. So that's on there really good. I'm not going to try to pull it apart, but I actually am pulling it apart. Nope, I'm trying. I mean, it's not coming apart. But I wanted to show you that the glasses are on there pretty good. And then, of course, you could fill these with anything. Since these bowls aren't labeled as BPA free, you still can drink from them, but don't permanently store a drink in there, if that makes sense. You know, BPA leaches into your drinks over time. It doesn't happen immediately, which is why we still aren't dying from BPA-free bottles, because people just use them and then put them away. But you could make these into giant, like, jungle punch sort of, you know, big tropical drinks and stuff, which would be super cute. Or, like, for Cinco de Mayo, this one so just reminds me of Super Duper. It looks like margarita glass on steroids, which is why I love it. So with Cinco de Mayo coming, this would be a great vessel to hold salsa or chips. You could take another one of these and you can put it in top, and then you can put the salsa in the top of that and chips are on the bottom. I'm just saying, there's just all these different options. So the other thing is, and I'll show the sample, the person decorated theirs in bling. So they blinged theirs out. They put the diamond wrapper on the top and on the glue seam. But like I showed you before, the glue seam is barely noticeable. I mean, really, you'd have to get really up close and notice. And you really can't tell from here what stuff in it. Sweet 16s, candy. And of course, then again, you can go ahead and do the samples that she did were on candle holders. So that would make them at varying heights. But I just wanted to share with you this step up where I did with the candle with the glasses on them. I love these glasses because they're heavy duty and they feel like they're really, first of all, it's really going to feel like it'll take a lot to tip them over. Let's see. Yeah, see? The same thing with that one, which is good. Not saying that the candlesticks will tip over or anything either, but the candlesticks are on those skinny little, they have skinny little stems on them. So that's it. So that's it, everybody. Here's what it looks like. Of course, it'd be so much cuter with all of that multicolored, same colored candy. Multicolored wasn't the right words. That you can do for different theme parties would be so cute. And again, filled up with, can you see it just filled up with like a big tropical drink with 2 giant straws? I can. I don't know. Just me. All right. So if you have any questions at all, even the slightest question, leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family. Anybody you know who's planning an event soon and might need a candy bar idea. This along with everything that Shelly did. It would give you varying heights, which is really cool. And if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.